Hi, this is Unit 6, Podcast 3. Three basic questions of economics. We're going to look at the different systems we looked at last podcast and ask some questions about these systems. So the first question is what to produce. And in a free market, supply and demand dictate what will be produced. Remember, we talked about consumer sovereignty. What customers want to buy is what producers will produce. If there's lots of demand for my product, I'm going to make lots of it. If there's no demand, I'm not going to make my product. We talked about televisions. Nobody wants to buy black and white TVs. They're not produced. People want to buy flat screen and HD and all these other acronyms. That's what's being produced. In a command economy, the government determines what's going to be produced. You don't want black and white TVs? Sorry, that's all the government's producing. You want an HD TV? We're not making those. So the government decides what's going to be produced. In a mixed economy, again, you as a consumer have the largest role in determining what will be produced. The government really doesn't play a role, not much of a role in what companies are going to produce. They might make laws and regulations about them, but they really don't have any say in what a company is going to produce. In a traditional, it's custom. My family's always made these baskets. My family's always farmed. So that's what I'm going to produce. Who will produce it? Free market, economic decisions are made by individuals. People own companies to make money. So I'm going to determine, again, I'm going to be the one that produces it. Command economy, again, the government produces it. The government makes all the decisions in a command economy. In a mixed economy, people decide what's going to be produced, but the government makes sure, the government has regulations to make sure things are safe and that we don't have monopolies and things along those lines. And in a traditional economy, again, it's done the same way generation for generation. The way I make baskets, the same way my great-grandparents made baskets. So I'm going to produce the goods. And for him, is it being produced? In a free market, things are purchased by people who can afford them. We want people to own private property. So if I can afford to buy a Mercedes-Benz, I'll buy a Mercedes-Benz. If I can afford to buy a Ford Escape, I'll buy a Ford Escape. In a command economy, you really don't have any economic freedom. You don't have any economic choice. The government, it determines who's going to receive goods and services by laying out what's going to be produced. You want meat, you got to buy it on Tuesdays. You want a car, you got to buy it here. It has to look like this. So let's go back. In command economy, it really doesn't matter. The government doesn't really care who it's being produced for. They're going to produce it, and you're going to use it. In a mixed, again, we make decisions for the private sector, so I make decisions for myself. The government makes decisions for the country as a whole. So the government's going to decide where malls go or where roads go. I'm going to make decisions for myself and my family when it comes to economic decisions. And in traditional, families are self-sufficient, or they barter with other families for things that they need. Barter means to trade. So these questions are all answered differently by each time economy, and again, it's determined by the economic system. Okay? And then how does each type of economy answer the three basic questions? That's all I got for this podcast, guys. Take it easy. Thanks a lot for all your hard work.